There is so much work to do in the garden today. It is the first week of July, and we're going to harvest, we're going to weed, we're going to trellis up some plants, and then we're also going to clean up some beds so that they will be more productive. Thanks for coming along. So today we have to work on this bed. There's just a lot going on. It's going kind of wild, especially in this area right here. So we are going to remove some of those volunteer tomato plants, and then we are also going to trellis our squash plants.
Tomato.
These are the tomatoes that you harvested right now?
Yeah.
Good job. Good, you can go keep looking for more if you find any more. If not, that's okay. So this one here is ready, well, maybe it's past its time to be trellised, but we're going to do our best to help it go up because it's already sprawling on the ground. Okay, now that it opened up all this space, now I can see all these weeds that need to be harvested. I mean, not harvested, that need to be pulled. So here's another pumpkin plant that needs to be growing up. I just need to tie it like I did the other one. I don't think I want to go any tighter than that because I don't want it to snap. And so now the plan is for this plant to go up this cattle pen. So the next task for today is this bed. We have to harvest kale because we need some for our food today. But there are also some things in here that are a little bit spent that we need to get rid of and then do some weeding as well. So here's I'm removing some of the old kale leaves at the bottom of this plant. A ton of kale that needs to be harvested. And I like to get a variety of kales, not just the same type not just the same type for the meal. So much kale, it's insane. Okay, so let's get rid of this old lettuce. We're going to feed that to the chickens. Already we see a massive difference with the weeding that we've done and some of the harvesting. It just is looking so much better. So here's one of my helpers. He loves to harvest tomatoes. So the day has come for us to harvest these cabbages. They are definitely ready to be harvested. We have 6 cabbages in this bed. I think all of them are ready. That's beautiful. So incredibly exciting. Our chickens are going to love all these extra leaves. Yay! One of the signs that lets you know a cabbage is ready to be picked is when you see the leaves are starting to curl outwards. So this one is definitely ready to be picked. And also, when you touch it, it should feel very tight, not soft or spongy. Definitely ready. Beautiful! I am determined to get this one. It's not even that big. I think I got it. I got it. And here we go. So this is cabbage number 4. Beautiful. So we decided to just harvest all of them, even though this one here could probably use just a couple more days, but we're just going to go ahead and harvest all of them. Wow, we have all that space in the back now. It just feels so empty, and it gives us more space for us to be able to sow something. So we will think about that, about what to put in there next. And we also need to do some weeding and maybe a little bit of just reworking this part of the bed again. The chickens are loving the treats that we are giving them right now after harvesting the cabbage. Another thing we need to do in this bed is harvest some of this Swiss chard. They are mammoth right now, and so they need to be harvested. And we are definitely going to eat them today. There are a lot of things to harvest, but we mostly like to harvest what we are going to eat that day. And obviously we can't eat 6 heads of cabbage in one day, but we have a plan. We are going to turn them into some delicious sauerkraut. Even though we just made sauerkraut a couple days ago, but we have all this amazing cabbage that we should use to make more sauerkraut. These leaves are just beautiful. I am so glad we are netting this bed. Even though it's not perfect, it is beautiful compared to how it was last year. Last year we had a lot of damage from different types of caterpillars like cabbage loopers and others that were just decimating our plants. And this is working out so much better. It's worth the extra hassle. Okay, I think that should be enough Swiss chard for today. I also harvested some of our red lettuce, but lost the footage of the video. So here I am, just cleaning up the bed and cutting out some of the remaining spent lettuce and collecting it for the chickens. So I just want to look through these to see if there are any carrots that are too close together, and I can harvest some baby carrots and thin at the same time. I don't want to leave them like this because they're just not going to grow to their full potential if I don't thin them out. Here we go. Some more baby carrots. I am very happy about this harvest of baby carrots that we can easily throw in a soup or stew. The last thing I'm going to harvest today is some celery. So I love using the celery in my juice. And I have celery scattered out all throughout the garden. I have a bed that has a bunch of celery, but then also I interplanted celery in between the tomato plants. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm getting the celery from the tomato beds. And we have harvested quite a bit of celery already. And it's just amazing. Here we go. We can add our celery to our harvest basket. Here's another celery plant that is in between our tomatoes. And this one is looking so good. These celery stalks are perfect for juicing. And there's nothing wasted when we juice because we also use the leaves. and it's just perfect. Our harvest basket is looking beautiful and quite full. So in between my rows of cucumbers, I planted some carrots and some radishes, and they're growing very well. But what I need to do today is thin out those carrot seedlings. Some of them over here, for example, are just so sown so thick, so I have to go through that. And there are some weeds also that I have to take care of. And these cucumbers are going to grow up this trellis, so there should be enough room for the carrots and other things to grow. So I want to give them enough room to grow. So I'm just going to pluck out a bunch right here. Here too, here's an area that is kind of thick, so I'm just going to pull out a big clump. There are 4 plants that you can still grow even in July, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. The first plant that you can grow in July from seed are green beans. The other plants that you can grow from seed in July are zucchini. So I have golden zucchini and black beauty zucchini. And then the final plant I'll be sowing today are bush cucumbers. There's still plenty of time to get a good harvest of bush cucumbers. So this is one of the beds that was not very productive for us. And we worked on it, we got it ready, and it is ready to be planted. And on this bed, I am going to plant garden beans along this side, and then I'm going to plant some zucchini towards the other side of the bed. And these are supposed to be spaced 6 inches apart, and that's roughly around where we have each emitter for our drip irrigation, so I think that's perfect. And so that's what I have to do now. I have to go all along the side of this bed, and I'm going to sow these seeds. And over here in this area is where I'm going to plant some zucchinis, black beauty zucchini and golden zucchini. So this is another one of our beds that has not been very productive for us. If you've seen a previous video of mine when I was doing a tour, I showed you that here I have some bell peppers, some tomatoes, and a few other things. But our bell peppers are really not growing. So I think I am going to remove some of them. I might leave a couple just to see what happens. And I need to prepare this bed and get it ready so I can plant some bush cucumbers in this bed. There's still time to get a good harvest of cucumbers from this bed. So here are some of the plants growing in this bed, and here are some peppers that I have that are just so tiny. Even though this one has buds and tiny fruit, I just don't know if it's going to be worth keeping in the garden. And then I have these tomatoes that are just not doing very well, but I do want to keep them around because they are already starting to blush. So I am going to plant bush cucumbers probably close to the plant, and then when these tomatoes ripen, I'm just going to cut the rest of the plant. This is a Tiny Tim tomato variety, so it's not supposed to get super big, but it's also just not amazing. So here's a zucchini plant that I sowed a couple of weeks ago, and 2 of them came up. So I know I need to choose one and get rid of the other one because they are too close together to grow. So I am going to cut this one out, and this one is going to grow. So I have a lot of weeding to do on this bed, and then also deciding what plants will stay and what plants will go. So here's our massive harvest for the day. Today we had a long day working in the garden. We took care of some weeds, we cleaned up some beds that were not productive, and we sowed some new seeds. We harvested all these vegetables. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more harvest videos and more gardening videos, please make sure to subscribe and follow along.